Hello everybody, and welcome back to another night of racing with the non-winged open wheel series. Tonight we come to you from beautiful Volusia in Florida. Tonight things have been mixed up a little bit. Last week we ran the midgets. Tonight we're in the 360 non-wing sprint cars. For those of you that have never been to Volusia, it's a pretty tricky little track, tied into 1 and 2, which then kind of opens up pretty much D-shaped down the back straightaway and then tightens back up into 4. Makes for some pretty hectic racing. So tonight's lineup, we're starting here with Heat 1. On the pole we've got Ty Garl, outside front row Brian Ledbetter. Inside second is Eric Parson, outside is Kaylee Garst. Then Jimmy Nees and Nate McMillan make up row 3, followed by Matthew Joy and Anthony Mossbacher. We've got some really fast guys in this one. It should make for some good racing. Like always in our series right now, due to car counts, we are racing for starting positions in the feature. So everybody will make the feature. Just how far up front do you want to go? Should be pulling in. The truck should be pulling in now, and it's about time to get on the loud pedal. Ty Garl brings them down, and he's away. Looks like everybody's getting through turn. Oh, and we've got some problems up on the outside of turn 1. During our heat races, you'll notice that we don't throw yellow flags. We try to get the races on through. Oh, looks like a little bit of tightening up there with Brian and Ty Garl down there in turn 4. Looks like they've got it sorted out. Sorry, that was Eric Parson and Brian Ledbetter, not Ty. Ty looks to have things under control, slowly pulling away. Oh, we got one down on the bottom. Everybody seems to be able to squeeze by. And away we go. You'll notice on this track there's going to be several different line choices. Some guys run in low, some guys run in high. Some guys will come in low and work their way up the track in the slide job line. Some will also work from the high end and come down across the track to try to get a good run off. This track really lends itself to a lot of different lane choices and some exciting racing. So far it looks like Ty Garl's got this race pretty well under control. He seems to be pulling out to about a 10-car length right now. Nice and smooth. Running well. You'll notice that we have a new ticker up on top of the screen. Before each race, I believe it goes to showing what the qualifying runs were, but during the race you'll notice that it's now a live ticker. So right now we've got Ty Garl in first, Eric Parsons second, Brian Ledbetter running third, Jimmy Nees, then Anthony Mossbacher, Nate McMillan, and Matthew Joy, and Kylie Garst rounding out the race here. Our camera guy is going crazy there, flipping around. We really hope that the live ticker at the top helps you guys out in keeping up with the race as far as laps and who's running where. And that looks to be our first heat race of the night, finishing pretty quickly there. So the finish goes to Ty Garl, second place to Eric Parsons, then Brian Ledbetter, Jimmy Nees, Anthony Mossbacher, Nate McMillan, Matthew Joy rounds it out, and Kylie Garst. So getting into heat race number 2 here as they pull away. On the pole we've got Keith Steele, then Blake Deepinay, followed on the outside or the second row by Ted Richard and William Esslick. Third row we have Shane Keiko and Matthew Ramsey. Fourth row we've got William Pallant and David Playas. And following up, looks like on a lonesome note there, Trey Harrison starting on the back all by himself. This is a pretty stacked field here. We got some really fast guys in this one. There is definitely nobody in this one that is a true runaway standout. This should be a very exciting heat race. Beautiful night for virtual racing here. Our two-dimensional crowd down there is looking pretty excited. This is a really nice track for the hammer down driver. You can pretty much run flat-footed in the early goings, but it will dry out some towards the middle of the feature typically, and with these 360 non-wing cars, the throttle control really does come into play. Now, like all our other races in this league, this is a fixed setup league, so all the cars are the same. Keith Steele's bringing them down. Ooh, got a nice slow roll. Keith gets a great jump out. Oh, William looks like he ran up on that driver there and kind of loses some spots. Boy, what a race for second and third right now. The live ticker hasn't caught up with us just yet. Oh, not yet. Should catch up on this lap here. Oh, we already got one rolling through the pits right now. Not sure what happened there. Didn't quite catch that one, but the action's heating up. Looks like we're getting a pretty good run for race for second play, or first and second, and one for third and fourth, a little bit further back. Some nice clean racing so far. These cars, unlike the midgets, you really got to kind of drive them into the corners and really throttle control your way out. So currently our standings are Keith Steele in first, Ted Richards, then William Eslick, Shane Keiko, Trey Harrison working his way up, Blake Depney, Matthew Ramsey, David Playas, and William Plant. That's an impressive run for Trey there, having come from the back. Already working his way up into the mix there, running fifth place now. Williams falling back a little bit on that first and second place car, but now we got some lap cars. Good job, guys. Look at them just kind of work their way up to the top a little bit, let the leaders through. There's some great sportsmanship in this league. Guys are running hard and running near each other, but trying to give each other plenty of room. Really been a very good bunch of drivers we've got going on here. So Keith still is still out in a commanding position. Got himself about a 3-car lead on Ted Richards there. Williams trying to reel him in, but he's running out of time. Shane, I'm not sure where Shane is. There he is. Oh. And I guess that was our finish there. I got a couple of laps behind myself here. So the finish goes Keith Steele, then Ted Richards, William Eslick, Shane Keiko, Blake Deepanay, Trey Harrison, David Playas, Matthew Ramsey, William Pallant. Great racing. So now we're coming into the warm-up session before our feature event starts. Cars are going to get a chance to go out and see how the track's going to be. We've added a little fuel in. Going to see how that handles. Amazingly, just adding a little bit of fuel into a car really makes a big difference as far as the handling of the car. With that fuel tank being all the way at the back like it is, you throw a car in and got that little bit of extra weight there swinging around like a pendulum. Really makes a difference on how you enter and exit a turn. We get a few different camera angles here to see how the guys are setting the cars in. You run it down in there, blip the throttle just a little to get the car to come around, and then hammer back down. Follow cam shots here to see these guys. There's Trey Earl throwing it in. Looks like he got up into the marbles a little bit and got her loose. There's some in-car camera with Ty. See him working the wheel there. This may be simulated racing, but I'll tell you right now, the competition is real. A lot of these guys are using some pretty good hardware with the force feedback wheels and everything, and as you're beating yourself up in the car there, it truly does get to be a bit of a workout sometimes. William Eslick throwing the car around. And our camera guys are sure liking the kick around here. A little overhead shot here so you can see just the difference in lines and how much counter steer. The back straightaway on this is a D-shaped track, so you do have a tendency to be in just a bit of a slide the entire way down the back straightaway. You can see those areas down there. Oh, a couple of guys got together. Ooh, that was close. But you can see down on the track here, especially coming into turn one, you'll see the real shiny spots there. Those spots are pretty dry, and getting in and out of turns across those, you got to really be cautious on the loud pedal, because you do get a lot of wheel spin there, and that can just turn you right around. You can see the different lines guys are trying. Some up high, some run down low and drift up. Some will run down low and slow it down a bit and try to run the wall like that car there. Sometimes you do that, you can squirt off of the turn really good and get you a good nice long run and get you some places made up down the straightaway. There's a lot of fast guys in this league. And we're starting to wind down on races as well, so the points championships will start tightening up. Listen to those engines go by there. You see a lot of the guys starting to work that bottom line now. Let's see how that is. Oh, got a couple up over their end. Nice thing about the simulated racing is the car owners don't have to spend that much money to fix those kind of accidents. Couple of cars working some different lines there. Not sure why that guy's backing up into that hole over there, but there you go. More simulated racing. Maybe he's just trying to see what the other guys are doing as far as their lines. Looks like the warm-up is over, and we're about to start the feature event for tonight. In our feature, the lineup's like this. Tiger Earl with his quick heat race puts him on the pole, followed by Keith Steele. Eric Parson will be on the inside second row, next to Ted Richards. Row 3 is Brian Ledbetter and William Eslick. Row 4, we've got Jimmy Nees and Shane Keiko. Row 5 is Anthony Mossbacher and Blake DePinay. Row 6, we have Nate McMillan and Trey Harrison. Row 7 is David Playas and Matthew Joy. Row 8, we have Matthew Ramsey and Kaylee Garst. And it looks like a lone rider in row 9 is William Pallone. Cars are all getting staged up and ready to go. One nice thing in the sim racing world is There's no push trucks involved, so these cars can get staged up and get moving fairly quickly. Here we go. So there should be 2 pace laps as the guys get themselves ready and kind of situated. Some of the guys here are using what we call a full rig, where they've got a seat and steering wheel set up and everything situated similar to an actual cockpit. Some of the guys are using an office chair and a desk. You have all kinds of different setups, whatever makes the driver feel comfortable. Every now and then you'll see a car blink in and out, and that is generally due to the internet connection. Unfortunately, you know, some people's are a little better than others. It does make a bit of a difference on here if you're running behind somebody doing that, because they blink out of existence right in front of you. You don't know where they're going to pop back in. So sometimes you just got to kind of hammer down and hope you don't hit anybody. All right. Pace truck is pulling around. This should be the go time. Everybody's going to start tightening up here, getting ready. This is about the time that the nerves go away. Tiger brings him down to the green flag, and away we go. Everybody's trying to work their way through the front there. Looks like we got through turn 1 clean. Keith still is working the bottom there. Got lap 1 down. So far, everybody's running nice and clean. Boy, we've got some good racing going on. Oh, Keith looks like he got a bad run. Oh, sorry, we've got a yellow. Yellow on the track, first yellow. Not sure what caused that, but we'll get underway here pretty quick. So everybody will bunch back up, get lined all back up and ready to go. These sprint cars are sure definitely different as far as handling goes than the midgets. They may look similar, but I'll tell you, the wheelbase, the weight, the power, it all makes a bit of a difference. Midgets are a little bit lighter, smaller, shorter, a little less horsepower. You can kind of throw them around, manhandle them a little bit more. These big old long sprint cars, you just got to kind of guide into its area and get on the throttle. A lot more of the turning is done with the throttle than the steering wheel. Kind of like old Doc said in the movie Cars, to go left, sometimes you gotta turn right. These sprint cars will certainly put that to the test tonight. And of course, this being a non-wing series, all of our races will have no wings on the cars, which being winged or non-winged, that is a huge difference in not only driving technique, but setup, everything. The wing especially on a sprint car wing, really plants these cars down, and you go from throwing it into the turn and driving it with the throttle to more of a subtle drive into the turn and much more subtle movements of the steering wheel. It makes a huge difference. Alright, pace truck's pulling off, and we're back to green. Ty gets a good jump. Oh, we do have one up into the wall. I didn't quite see who that was. Oh no, and it looks like our leader's up in the wall now. That should bring out another yellow. You know, the start of any race is the most chaotic time. Everybody runs in, and this is a good group of guys. They understand that you certainly can't win on the first lap, but you can lose the race on the first lap. Sometimes you get that little bit of red mist come in, and well, all logic and reason goes out the door. So the pace truck's going to gather them all back up, get everybody back into a single file line here, get them ready to go again. We do want to thank our league president, if you will, owner, organizer, all-around guy. You know, Trey Harrison has been working his tail end off to put these races on for us, and we've got to give a big shout out to him. There's been a few times even that he's pretty well given up his position in the races to make sure that the guys are taken care of with yellow flags or whatever needs to happen as far as admin goes. Big shout out and thank you to Trey for all his hard work. We're rolling back into the green flag. Everybody looks like they're going to get through first turn pretty clean. We've got a couple of cars touching each other, but are we going to keep going? I believe we're going to keep going here. Oh, got one turned up in turn 3 there, and we're back to yellow. This just proves that, you know, these cars are difficult to control at times, at the best of times. Now the track's starting to change and dry out a little bit. You get into that, go in hard into the turns and hit those dry spots and have a tendency to really come around on you. You've really got to feather foot through those to get the car set nice so that you don't end up looping it out on you. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of laps. You know, I've been asked the question on Facebook and several other places of what is the secret to turning fast laps at any given track, and well, there is no secret really. Just laps, laps, laps. The more laps you can get in on the car, the better you're going to be. Reminds me years ago that there was a young man by the name of Aaron Berryhill that was on the World of Outlaws circuit. He went up to one of the veterans, Doug Wolfgang, and asked him, you know, how is it that you're so fast at this track? And Doug told him, it's all seat time, kid. You gotta just keep putting in the laps. Looked at him and said, you know, I've got probably 10,000 laps at this track, and by the time you have 10,000 laps in, you're probably going to be just as fast as me. And then Doug looked at him and said, but remember, by the time you have 10,000 laps, I'll have 20,000 laps, so I'll still be faster than you. You gotta love racing humor. So looks like the pace truck's about to turn in, and we are a-go again. Let's see if we can do more than a couple of laps here. Everybody charges off into turn 1. Look pretty close towards the back there, but I think everybody got through. It looks like one car is up there on the back. Oh, we did have some contact there. We're going to keep going. It looks like we're going to keep going. Nope. Yellow flag. Yellow flag. All right, boys. Time to start straightening up here. Non-wing cars sure do cut a different silhouette than the winged cars, that's for sure. Personal opinion, I think a non-wing car looks way better than a car with a wing, but then again, that's the reason that we're running the non-wing open wheel series. So as we get them all lined back up and sorted out here. A couple of cars look like they're getting a wave around for whatever reason. We normally don't do wave arounds in this league, but sometimes you have a special circumstance where a guy gets taken out on a lead lap or on a lap or something, and you give them a wave around to get them back up to the lead lap at least, so they have a chance to have some tight racing. Normally, though, we don't do the wave arounds just for trying to, or for sake of easier admitting, if you will. Looks like Brian Ledbetter back there's got a pretty bad connection tonight. He's blinking in and out quite a bit. Hopefully you can get that straightened out before the next race, and we can have a go here. We're going to do one more lap probably. Should be about one more lap before we go green again. Should be going green on this next lap here. I believe the lights are off on the pace truck. Everybody's moving up a little high. They'll probably diamond off a little bit and try to come down a little low on the start. Pace truck is lights off and moving, and here we go. Looks like so far everybody's getting through turn one pretty clean. The race is moving. We got a little bit of stack up in the back here. Yellow again. Holy moly. Not sure what brought that yellow out. Wasn't able to see from our camera view here. But it looks like we're going yellow again. Unfortunately, when you're changing cars, jumping from midgets to sprint cars to non-wing to wing, sometimes it takes a little while to get used to them. You know, here we are in the feature event. People are wanting to move forward. Track's drying out. You can see the spots there that are a little bit lighter color. That'll be the drier areas of the track. And on top of this is just a tricky track, especially on that first lap. You run down the straightaway, you got a good head of steam, and turn one comes up real tight. So you kind of got to get on the binders a little bit, get the car settled down, set into the turn, and back on the throttle. And of course, the whole time you've got, 7, 8, whatever amount of cars breathing down your neck, those drivers trying to take your position. So sometimes that first turn can get a little bit hairy. And these cars don't exactly change direction on a dime, so it's not like you can run in high and all of a sudden drop it down to the bottom, and you kind of got to plan your line out and hope the guys around you are doing about the same kind of deal. Should be going back to green here. Drivers are tightening up, getting ready. Pace truck is pulling off, and we are back to green. So far, it looks like everybody got through turn one pretty good there. Now we're racing down the back straightaway. Like current standing is Eric Parson, followed by Keith Steele, then Ted Richard, Shane Keiko, Brian Ledbetter, Trey Harrison, William Eslick fell back. Must have got into something there. Kaylee Garst, and then David Playas, Matthew Joy, and William Pallon. Ty Garl fell back. Then we've got Matthew Ramsey, and Nate McMillan, Jimmy Nees, and Blake Deepanay. And yes, I'm reading off of the ticker like you are. And Anthony Mossbacker again. And we're back to yellow. Back to yellow. I'll tell you, Eric Parsons been getting some good jumps on these starts, though. Keith Steele better get up on him and keep up, because Eric seems to really have the starts nailed down. William Eslick so far is the points leader. He's sitting back there in, about 6th place. That can really shake up the points standings if he doesn't get himself on up there further. He does have a really good looking Texas car. Should be going back to green here pretty soon. Now, the laps under yellow in this series do count. However, we do have green-white checkered rule in effect. So, even if the laps actually die or tick down under yellow, we do not finish under yellow in this series. So, we want to always make sure that the fans get what they pay for, and that the boys are racing to the end. Starting to stack up here, getting ready. Should be the green flag should be dropping here pretty soon. Eric's getting up there on the pace truck. Alright, lights are out on the pace truck. It's about to pull in. Eric Parson has control of the field. And looks like we are green again. And he gets a good jump off of those starts. He's already got himself about a 2-car length. Looks like everybody got through okay. Oh, we got a heck of a race back here. Oh, tightening up. Oh, no. Probably gonna go yellow on this one, I believe. There was some car that looked like he was about to get upside down. So far, not so far. We're still green so far. Nope, there's the yellow right there. I figured it would be coming out. I'll tell you, all these yellows and slowdowns in the action really kind of make it hard for an announcer to keep his tongue going. You know, we got to give a lot of credit to iRacing. I'll tell you, they've done a very good job of all their modeling and everything. Of course, we know that most of the tracks are scanned tracks. They go out and use laser scanning devices to not only get the dimensions of the track right, but they actually get the bumps, the elevation changes, all that in as well. They use some very, very sophisticated computer scanning equipment, and from what I understand, they got some new equipment in, so the tracks are going to be scanned quicker and even in more fidelity. But the place where they've done a really good job, though, is the guys have done an excellent job at track modeling, at the changes, the state modeling, I should say. You know, they go out before a race and do some scanning, and then go out after the race and do scanning, so that they know what the track looks like before cars get on it, what it looks like after. They test moisture levels. They do all sorts of work to make sure that their models of these tracks are as accurate as they possibly can make them. And I tell you, it's they've done a very good job. Not only do the car dynamics change as the race goes, as the tires wear and the fuel load lightens, but the track state as it dries out and slicks off changes. It really makes it a handful to run these cars on these tracks. Parson brings him back down. Keith Steele is right on him this time. Didn't let him get that big jump. They've already... Steele and... Oh, Steele got into the wall. Oh, no. Steele got into the wall. Oh, that's a shame. There is a spot on that back wall where there's a big break in it, where you can, I guess, drive through on the real track. And right there where those yellow barriers are in it. That second side there, that where the barriers are, stick out away from the wall just ever so slightly. And if you get it wrong going down that back straightaway, you're full throttle, you're trying to get some speed, it's real hard to make a direction change doing that. It is not hard at all to clip that little spot. Once these big old those big right rear tires catch something like that, you're just you're no longer a driver, you're a passenger. The great thing about the virtual racing here, though, is not only is it's not an expensive fix, but doesn't hurt quite as bad either. So the pace truck is marshaling the cars around, getting ready to go again. Gonna have one more lap of pacing here. Virtual fans are on their feet. Standing room only. They sold them the whole bench, but they only need the edge. So the ticker still seems to be a little bit behind. It's still showing Keith Steele in second. Unfortunately, clipped that wall and had to fall back to the back. Alright, Eric Parson leads him back down and gets a big old jump. Everybody's working their way through turn one. I believe we're going to stay green. Get some laps in here. Got a couple of cars way up high through 3 and 4. Eric Parson and Ted Richards have been able to work their way out to a bit of a lead. Looks like William Eslick just took over 4th position there. Ryan Ledbetter's not going to let him have it without a bit of a fight. Is that Ty Garl coming up behind him there? Eric Parsons worked his way out to a pretty good lead, followed by Ted there. We've got about 7 or 8 car lengths between first and second and third. Shane Keiko's there in 3rd place. Looks like we're back under yellow there. Not sure what happened, didn't quite catch it. But, Keith Steele's made it back out onto the track. That's good to see. He's always a fun racer out there. Runs well. Nice, clean driver. It's a nice thing in this particular series. These drivers are exceptionally clean. You don't have guys out there just beating on each other. The old adage of rubbing is racing doesn't quite work in an open wheel car, and these guys all understand that. So. You don't typically see a lot of the bonsai, slide job, first lap pass type things. So. Looks like we're going to be coming around. Everybody's getting tightened up here. It looks like we're at one more lap here. So right now we've got Eric Parson and Ted Richards, Shane Keiko, William Eslick, Brian Ledbetter, Ty Garls worked his way back up. Kaylee Garst, Matthew Ramsey. Then we've got David Playas bringing up the top 10 here is Keith Steele. Then Matthew Joy, Nate McMillan, William Playas, Trey Harrison, Jimmy Nees, and Blake Dippenay. Anthony Mossbacker's back there in 17th. Some of these guys are actually pretty new to the open wheel stuff, so we applaud them for coming out and running with us, getting some laps under their belt. we are back at it. Eric Parson jumps out to a big lead again. Looks like we've got a great battle for second, third, and fourth shaping up here. Again, like we were saying earlier, the different lines guys are taking is very apparent here. You got guys diving to the bottom, to the top. There's a slide job line up in front of William that slows his progress down. Then back up to the top and diamonding off and coming down low. Like it's just all over the place on this track. This is a really good track for multiple lines. Looks like Ted Richards is starting to reel in Eric Parson there a little bit. You see that spot coming out of 4 there that's all dry down there. That's a really hard turn to get a good drive out of. Either you got to get right up close to the wall or way down under it. But it is a really tough spot to get a good drive down that front straightaway. I'll tell you that big right rear tire sure does have a tendency to want to just grab that wall. Not 100% sure why we're under yellow right now, but we'll get them all tightened up and figured out. Eric Parson pacing them around, bringing them back in. Looks like Williams worked his way up into 4th place. We got Eric Parson, Ted Richard, Shane Keiko, and William Eslick in the top 4 there. Ty Garles worked his way back up into 5th place. He's charging forward. Keith Steele's already worked his way back up to 7th place. Little bit of movement in the field there. There's some I've said it before and I'll always say it, there are some really talented drivers in here. Trey Harrison, our club president, sitting there in 14th place, working his way around, doing double duty as an admin and a racer. Brings him down. You see how he drops down there and tries to get down into that wet dirt down there on the bottom to get a drive down the straightaway. Sure worked out for him as he's jumped out to about a 5-car lead so far. Running up top. Here comes Ted Richards working around that top line. He's really good up on that cushion area. Shane Keiko working the slide job line. William running on the top. Ty Garl right behind William on the top. And Keith Steele's already worked his way right up there into the mix as well. Boy, these guys had an issue, fell back, but had no problem working their way back up. So top 6 has kind of got a bit of a split from the rest of the field back there. We're sticking with the fight for 3rd place. And we got Shane Keiko, William Eslick, Ty Garl, and Keith Steele working all battling for 3rd. William runs in, Ty pulls up on him. Look at Williams dropping to the bottom, but boy, he's right there in that dry stuff. It's going to be hard to get a good run down the straightaway when your right rear's in that stuff. See Ty Garl kind of diamond that off and jump down to the bottom. He's got a run on the bottom. Oh, just hits that dry stuff and just barely loses the drive. Williams running right up on Shane tight. Shane's running a great smooth race. Oh, we'll jump back up to the leaders. Eric Parsons got a pretty good lead. Ted Richards is really trying hard to fight back up to him. But hey, Eric seems to have this track figured out. Running right up on the top there. And looks like we're back under yellow. Some great tight racing up here in the front though. We're about 26 and 30. Gonna have a few more laps to go. Everybody's nerves are starting to itch a little bit. The fight to get to the front is getting desperate. As it sits, we got Shane Parson, Ted Richards, Shane Keiko, or Eric Parsons, sorry, William Eslick, Ty Garl, Keith Steele, Brian Ledbetter, Kaylee Garst, Matthew Ramsey, Dave Playas finishes out your top 10, Nate McMillan, Matthew Joy, William Plant, Trey Harrison, Jimmy Nees, Blake DePanay, and Anthony Mossbacker. That's your running order right now. Should be going back to green here pretty soon. Tell you, Eric Parsons really got this track pretty well figured out. He is going to be a hard one to beat. Your entire top 5 right there. They're all pretty fast guys. All of them running in the top of the point standings as it is. And well, don't discount Keith Steele back there. He is a heck of a driver as well. Looks like we have one more lap to green here. Everybody's getting shuffling around a little, trying to find their spot, checking the track out. Looks like we're going to get back to green here. Pace truck should be pulling off. Here we go. And Eric Parson leads him back down to the green flag. And again, out to a pretty good lead. He has got those starts figured out. He is running that high handsome line up there. Oh, Ty Garl got into the wall a little bit and slowed him up, but he was able to recover. Didn't lose a position. Keith Steele just about had William Eslick there. Man, we have got a race back here for 4th position right now between William Eslick, Ty Garl, and Keith Steele. And who is that that's just worked his way up? Oh, looks like Keith got a really bad run out of there. Got right down into that dry stuff, and it is really tough to recover from that. And, well, that looks like that's our feature. That is our feature. Wow. Boy, Eric Parson just put on a clinic out there. He absolutely dominated that race. So here's how our feature ends. We've got Eric Parson, who just absolutely dominated out there, followed by Ted Richard, Shane Keiko, William Eslick, Ty Garl, Kaylee Garst, Keith Steele, Brian Ledbetter, Matthew Ramsey, David Playas, Nate McMillan, Matthew Joy, William Plant, Trey Harrison, Jimmy Nees, Blake DePanay, and Anthony Mossbacker rounds out the race. What a wonderful, wonderful race we had. A few too many cautions, but hey, that's racing. That's what happens when everybody's out there giving it their all. Well, we sure hoped you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and thank you for sticking around and watching. We'll be back again next week and racing some more. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining the non-wing open wheel league for their running from Volusia Speedway. Have a great evening.